Jaguar E-Type 1961 through 1964. The E-Type was introduced as a rear-wheel drive Grand Tourer in two-seater coupe form, FHC or fixed-head coupe, and as a two-seater convertible, open two-seater. A 2+2, four-seater version of the coupe, with a lengthened wheelbase, was released in 1966. Later model updates of the E-Type were officially designated Series 2 and Series 3, and over time the earlier cars have come to be referred to as Series 1. As with other partly hand-made cars of the time, changes were incremental and ongoing, which has led to confusion over exactly what a Series 1 car is. Series 1 E-Types, and particularly Series 1 Roadsters, often have values in excess of Series 2 and 3 models. The Series 1 cars essentially fall into two categories, those made between 1961 and 1964, which had 3.8-litre engines and partial synchromesh transmissions, and those made between 1965 and 1967, which increased engine size and torque by around 10% to 4.2 litres, and also provided new reclining seats, an alternator in place of the dynamo, an electrical system switched to negative earth, a more reliable brake servo, and other modern amenities. Styling was unchanged. As a result, the 4.2-litre Type 1 generally became the most valuable form of the car. However, as of the end of 2014, the most expensive regular production Jaguar E-Type sold at auction included a 4.2-litre Series 1 Roadster, with matching numbers, original paint and interior, under 80,000 miles, 130,000 kilometers, since new, and a history of being in the original buyer's family for 45 years, for $467,000 in 2013, and a 3.8-litre 1961, flat-floor, Series 1, for $528,000 in 2014. Special run racing lightweights go for far more still. Being a British-made car of the 1960s, there are some rather rare subtypes of Series 1 E-Types, particularly at the beginning and end of the Series 1 production. For example, the first 500 Series 1 cars had flat floors and external bonnet latches. At the close of the Series 1 production run, there were a small number of cars produced that are identical in every respect to other Series 1 units, including triple SU carbs, button-actuated starter, toggle switches, etc., except that the headlight covers were removed for better illumination. It is not known exactly how many of these Series 1 cars, sometimes referred to as for convenience sake as Series 1.25, but per Jaguar, Series 1, were produced, but given that 1,508 Series 1 convertibles were produced worldwide for 1967, combined with the fact that these examples were made in just the last several months of Series 1 production, means that these, like the flat-floor examples that began the Series 1 production run, are the lowest volume Series 1 variant, save of course for the special lightweights. Including both left and right-hand drive examples, a total of 7,828 3.8-litre Series 1 open two-seaters, OTS, were built, with 6,749 of the later 4.2-litre Series 1 OTSs having been manufactured. While the 1968 Series 1.5 cars maintained the essential design of the Series 1 models, U.S. emission regulations saw its triple SU carburetors replaced there with twin Zenith-Stromberg units, resulting in a drop in claimed power from 265 to 246 horsepower, 198 to 183 kilowatts, and torque from 283 to 263 pound-feet, 384 to 357 N. Operator M. Of the Series 1 cars, Jaguar manufactured some limited edition variants, inspired by motor racing. The lightweight E-Type, initiated and designed for competition, was intended as a racing follow-up to the D-Type. Jaguar planned to produce 18 units, but ultimately only a dozen were reportedly built. Of those, 2 have been converted to low-drag form and 2 others are known to have been crashed and deemed to be beyond repair, although one has now been rebuilt. These are exceedingly rare and sought after by collectors. The low-drag coupe was a one-off technical exercise which was ultimately sold to a Jaguar racing driver. It is presently believed to be part of the private collection of the current Viscount Caudray. In 2014, Jaguar announced its intention to build the remaining 6 lightweights, at a cost of approximately £1 million each. Safety and emissions regulations in the North American market resulted in Series 2 and 3 E-Types being fitted with a larger grille, wider wheel arches, and bigger bumpers. And they were also fitted with a bigger radiator and cooling system because the Series 1 were notorious for overheating. The Series 1 was introduced, initially for export only, in March 1961. The domestic market launch came 4 months later in July 1961. The cars at this time used the triple SU carburetted 3.8-litre 6-cylinder Jaguar XK6 engine from the XK150S. Earlier built cars utilized external bonnet latches which required a tool to open and had a flat floor design. These cars are rare and more valuable. After that, the floors were dished to provide more leg room and the twin bonnet latches moved to inside the car. The 3.8-litre engine was increased to 4.2 litres, 4,235 cc, in October 1964. The 4.2-litre engine produced the same power as the 3.8-litre, 265 bhp, 198 kilowatts, and same top speed, 150 miles per hour, 241 kilometers per hour, but increased torque 18% from 240 to 283 pound-feet, 325 to 384 N. Operator M. Acceleration remained pretty much the same and 0 to 60 miles per hour, 0 to 97 kilometers per hour. Times were around 6.4 seconds for both engines, but maximum power was now reached at 5,400 revolutions per minute instead of 5,500 revolutions per minute on the 3.8-litre. That all meant better throttle response for drivers that did not want to shift down gears. 37. The 4.2 liters block was completely redesigned, made longer to accommodate 5 mm, 0.20 in, larger bores, and the crankshaft modified to use newer bearings. Other engine upgrades included a new alternator, generator and an electric cooling fan for the radiator. Autocar Road tested a UK spec E-Type 4.2 fixed-head coupe in May 1965. The maximum speed was 153 miles per hour, 246 kilometers per hour. The 0 to 60 miles per hour, 0 to 97 kilometers per hour time was 7.6 seconds and the 1/4 mile, 402 meters from a standing start took 15.1 seconds. They summarized it as, in its 4.2 guise the E-Type is a fast car, the fastest we have ever tested, and offers just about the easiest way to travel quickly by road. Motor Magazine road tested a UK spec E-Type 4.2 fixed-head coupe in October 1964. The maximum speed was 150 miles per hour, 241 kilometers per hour. The 0 to 60 miles per hour, 97 kilometers per hour time was 7 seconds and the 1/4 mile, 402 meters time was 14.9 seconds. They summarized it as, the new 4.2 supersedes the early 3.8 as the fastest car motor has tested. The absurd ease which 100 miles per hour, 161 kilometers per hour, can be exceeded in a 1/4 mile, 402 meters, never failed to astonish. 3,000 miles, 4,828 kilometers, of testing confirms that this is still one of the world's outstanding cars.